The new M1 Pro and M1 Max MacBook Pro laptops are amazing pieces of technology. They're incredibly fast, they have more cores than you can possibly need. You can run all applications and programs on your Mac at the same time and still run 6 streams of 8K footage in your timeline. I doubt there is anything out there that matches them in performance. They're literally stunning pieces of computer engineering. Benchmarks are through the roof, and yet, despite all of that, 90% of people who buy one of these laptops will be wasting their money. The question you need to ask yourself is, do you really need that much power? Let's put aside our natural human desire to always own the latest and the best, and let's be honest here. Do you really need a laptop that fast? I'm confident in saying that for 90% of people out there, content creators, video and photography aficionados, amateurs, semi-professionals, and to some extent professionals, the M1 MacBook Air is probably more than enough. And I'm gonna prove it to you. The M1 Pro and the M1 Max laptops are professional machines. They're not for the average medium to low budget content creator or filmmaker. Unless you are a professional editor working in a post-production facility, a CGI artist working on complex 3D or keyframing, or a DIT on set that needs to deliver playback in real time and grading in real time for heavy camera setups, essentially a professional that needs all that raw power, you're better off with a MacBook Air M1. The Air M1 is super lightweight and you can carry it with you and almost not notice that it's there. Try carrying one of these MacBooks. They're really heavy and bulky. This thing is thin, it's super silent, the screen is awesome, and for most people, this laptop will be relevant for a good 3 to 4 years, if not more. Honestly, think carefully before you fork out that much money, because unless you really need that much raw power under the bonnet, you are literally wasting money that you can put on a better camera, lights, a car. Dude, you can buy a car, a second-hand car that can take you to shoots, for instance. With the money you're saving, you can do something that can benefit you and your career a lot more than having the latest and fanciest laptop. Don't just buy into the marketing. Be honest with yourself. If on the other hand you are in a stage in your career that need all that raw power, then of course, go ahead. But if you're like most people, hardworking for every dollar that you make, consider your current situation. Don't just buy now thinking that you will need it in the future. Who knows what the future holds? How many times things don't pan out the way we thought they would? It happens all the time. If today your needs are not the high-end work, then don't buy the fanciest and latest MacBook Pros. If you're thinking or worrying about performance and you're asking yourself, what can the M1 handle? Let's not forget that the M1 chip up until 2 weeks ago was setting the world on fire compared to anything out there in the market. That hasn't changed. And let's be honest here, what do we actually get that is so different apart from the raw power of the processor, okay? So in terms of battery life, the M1 MacBook Air gives you around 18 hours of battery life, which is amazing, okay? The M1 Pro gives you around 18 hours and the M1 Max gives you around 21 hours. Really, that's not too much of a difference. So the MacBook Air still holds up quite nicely. Now, in terms of ports, the MacBook Air naturally has less ports than the MacBook Pros. You get 2 USB-Cs, whereas with the MacBook Pros, you get 3 USB-Cs, an HDMI out, an SD card reader, and the MagSafe. But don't get bogged down on these because you can just simply buy a USB-C adapter and you get the additional ports. So yes, it's nice to have them on board with the MacBook Pros, but you can get a lot of functionality by adding an adapter, and you can have an adapter through a cable and a dongle or something that is physically attached to it. So for most people, you can still have a lot of ports by simply adding a cheap $35 or $45 adapter. Now the camera on the MacBook Air is 720p, on the MacBook Pros is 1080p. For some people this is a really big deal. For me, really, it's not that much of a deal. The 720p camera on the laptop is probably more than enough. If you use these cameras is for Zoom calls or that type of calls, nobody really is gonna expect you to have a 4K camera with incredible dynamic range. So this is a bit of a gimmick. 1080p is great. 720p on the MacBook Air is probably more than enough. It really is more than enough. Now, in terms of weight, the MacBook Air is really, really lightweight, okay? The MacBook Air weighs 2.8 pounds. That's about 1.3 kilograms. That's really, really lightweight. The 14-inch MacBook Pro is 3.5 pounds, that's 1.6 kilos. And the 16-inch MacBook Pro is 4.7 pounds, that's 2.1 kilos. Now, it's not just the weight, but it's the size, okay? 2.1 kilos can get really heavy over time. And if you travel, try and fit that into your rucksack, not just the weight, but the size. A 16-inch laptop is really difficult to travel with, okay? The MacBook Air fits in any rucksack. It's super lightweight. You won't notice that it's there. The MacBook Pros, depending on the size that you go for, you'll struggle to fit them in the rucksack. And trust me, you will know and feel that you're carrying that extra weight. Now, cost is the one thing that is gonna make or break purchase of a new laptop, because for as much as we like to have the latest and the best performance and have the laptops fully spec'd to the most RAM and cores and whatever bells and whistles that you can throw in, cost is really important. So it's not the same to pay $2,000 than to pay $6,500. And that's what I said earlier in the video. It really depends on what stage in your career you are. I'm gonna go for the beefiest option, because if you're gonna invest your money on a computer, you may as well just go for the best there is, because you wanna future-proof your purchase. You don't wanna run into problems later on, a year or 2 years down the line. So I'm just gonna go for the maximum cores, the maximum memory available, 8 terabytes of SSD storage. I don't think you really need that much, but hey, why not? You know, you could literally edit and do all your work from the computer itself, and you don't need to carry external drives, which is gonna make your life a lot simpler. So there you go. That's gonna set you back $5,900. If we go for the 16-inch version, we go for 64 gigabyte memory, 8 terabytes as well, and it sets you back $6,100, okay? Now let's go to the MacBook Air. We go for the best option. We're gonna go for 16 gig of memory RAM, 2 terabytes of storage, and it's $2,049, okay? There is a difference of $4,000 give and take, okay? From the 16, and the best part of nearly $3,900 again. Honest to God, the performance that you get on the MacBook Air for that price, it's really, really good. And for most people, it's gonna be enough. You open all the apps really quick, the programs, you get a lot of raw power. So unless you really need this kind of performance for $6,100 or $5,900, I don't know. I mean, you really need this kind of raw power, because this is just a laptop, okay? Entirely up to you. But let me show you what a MacBook Air can do, and then you can decide. Okay, so I'm gonna launch DaVinci Resolve, because that's the editing platform that I use. And as you can see, it's DaVinci Resolve Studio 17. And I've got a timeline already ready, but you can see how quickly it opens. And obviously this is a very extreme timeline, okay? So by all means, you're never gonna have a timeline this insane, okay? These are 10 streams of various different cameras resolutions, okay? So I've got Blackmagic 6K, I've got iPhone 12 Pro Max 10-bit Log 3 4K, I've got DJI Pocket 2 at 4K, single stream and then 10 streams. I've got Sony A7S3 4K, single frame 10 streams. Then I've got Red R3D 8K. That's gonna be something else. I've got single stream, dual stream, and 10 streams. I've got Arri Alexa, Arri Raw at 4K, single stream, and then 10 streams. And then I've got Arri Alexa, but on ProRes XQ, which is 444. Okay, so I'm just gonna hit playback. As a matter of fact, for the purpose of this, let's just bring the resolution, high resolution. I've got render cache none, so I'm not catching anything. And I've got a 1080p timeline, because honestly, you don't edit on a 4K or 8K timeline. You know, that's just madness. Normally, a 1080p timeline is more than fine. The playback is at 1080p 25. I dropped the bit depth for to 8-bit for the purpose of playback. And these are my cache settings, but obviously I'm not caching anything, so it really is pointless. The timeline color space is sRGB. I could leave it on Rec 709, but I choose sRGB because that's how I do my business. And look, just playback. Single stream, 6K, no problem. 10 streams of Blackmagic RAW 6K, no problem. This is now footage from an iPhone 12 Pro Max, single stream, no problem. 10 streams, various different footage, no problem, okay? So this is 10-bit log 3 4K from an iPhone 12. This is now DJI Pocket 2, single stream, obviously at 4K, no problem. 10 streams at 4K, no problem. Sony A7S3, 4K, 422. This was actually shot at 120 frames per second, so it's real-time slow-mo, no problem, single stream. I got 10 streams now, A7S3 footage, no problem. Playback, no problem. This is R3D 8K, okay? Red R3Ds, single stream, no problem. Dual stream, no problem. And as you can see here, I've got 2 streams. Yeah, no problem. This is now gonna get interesting. There's gonna be drop frames now, okay? So this is 10 streams of R3D files, 8K, okay? Various different files. I've got these are files from Red's websites, okay? So these streams are all playing back. Now, at high resolution, they don't play smoothly, but quarter resolution, they play smoothly. Now, I've got a screen recording software which drops the performance of the laptop about 10%, so there might be a chance that they might not play really smooth or completely smooth, but it will give you an indication, okay? Normally, I would have no problem with this footage, okay? But because of the screen recording software, there is a little bit of a drop of performance. But this is playing 10 streams. Nobody has 10 streams of 8K R3D files on a timeline, okay? This is just some silly extreme example, okay? Normally you have 1 stream, 2 streams, and then you do your cuts, your edits, your trimming. On a rare occasion, you might have a very complex effect where you pile up different, 3, 4, 5 streams, but you don't have 10 streams. I'm just putting this out. This is a silly example, just to give you an indication of the raw power of the MacBook Air as it is, okay, the M1. And normally, like I said, if I didn't have the screen recording software at a quarter of resolution, it would play smoothly, the 10 files, okay? Let's just go back to high resolution. Now, this is gonna be Arri Alexa, Arri RAW files, okay? At 4K, okay? No problem here. Single stream, no problem. You can see here, green dot 25. The cuts are smooth, and this is Arri RAWs, okay? 4K. Now 10 streams of Arri RAW, okay? Different files here. I've got different files. I mean, obviously I stack them up, and that's, again, you can download these clips from Arri's websites, okay? So 10 streams of Arri RAW, no problem. Now, this is Arri Alexa 4K ProRes XQ, okay? So this is 444 Apple ProRes, single stream, no problem. 10 streams, no problem whatsoever. Smooth as butter, really. And this is what you want from a computer. And obviously, this is really extreme. I mean, nobody has 10 tracks of ProRes XQ in a timeline for offline. That's just plain mad, But look, let's just go back and grade some of it. This one, okay? So that's a lot there. And there is no problem. This is really difficult footage because this is iPhone footage, so this is really hard for a computer to process. 10-bit, no problem. Okay. Let's just do another one that I have prepared here. Okay, so our slow motion from the A7S3. Again, no problem. Okay. This plays back, no problem. And the next one, look, we can have graded footage, R3D files, okay? R3D, let's put some R3D files, okay? So there you go, graded. Let's bring it down to high resolution, and it plays back, no problem. Smooth as silk, 25 frames, no problem at all. Nobody has a timeline like this, okay? Normally you have, like I said earlier, 1 or 2 streams, 3 streams, you play around with it, and that's that, okay? But look, let me just show you something else, okay? Let's just hit this play, okay? And let's just say that in the meantime, you want to create the thumbnail for your YouTube video. Why not? Just open, have a raw footage here, a raw of images. Well, let's just open Photoshop. Photoshop is a very processor intensive package, and still is playing up, no problem, 25 frames a second there. Look, I could be editing my raw images here, and I could do all sorts of things. If I go back to DaVinci Resolve, it's still playing 10 streams, no problem, you know. So this is the kind of performance that you want from a laptop, okay? So what you need to think is, how much more do you really need? Are you fine with this? I mean, I would be totally fine. I mean, I'm telling you, I've been editing on this laptop for the best part of 10 months now. I've never had a single job where it's slowed me down. I've clearly showed you this can play 6K, can play 4K, can play 8K files from R3D files, Arri Alexas, A7S3, you name it, this computer can handle it. The question is, do you really need more? And don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to suggest or recommend people not to buy the new M1 MacBook Pros, because they are amazing and incredible machines. It's the contrary. If you need that much power, then yes, there is nothing better in the market today and probably in the foreseeable future. But what I'm trying to give is a different perspective, and maybe bring people down to earth and ask a simple question, okay? It's, do you really need all that power? Really? Think this through, okay? Because there is nothing worse in life than the feeling of having wasted your money, okay? Really think about it. How likely are you to need all that raw power? And even if you need it, do you need to have that much speed? I mean, do you really need exports from, let's say that your edit takes, I don't know, 25 minutes? Do you really need it to be 5 or 10 minutes? Really? I mean, let's say that you have a 4K export that takes 2 hours, okay? Do you need that export to be 25 minutes? Is that gonna make your life any better? Is that gonna be such a difference in your workflow, in your career, that you need that? Because if you do, then yes, buy the new M1 MacBook Pros, okay? They're really incredible machines, and they will allow you to work faster, okay? But if you don't, then it's redundant, okay? If you work in a post-production facility, then yes, you need all of that power, because post-production facilities often work with multiple editors in different time zones, sometimes even different continents, and they all have different deadlines for graphics, special effects, sound effects. You might have an editor that is editing the action sequence, another editor that is doing the drama sequence, another one that is doing something else, and they all need to report to the main editor. You might have editing assistants. So when you have workflows like that, then yes, it makes perfect sense to have a laptop like this. If you are on location, but you know, you really need to think why or if you need a machine like that. You know, $6,100 in the grand scheme of things, it's not really a huge amount of money, okay? But it is a fair bit of money. It actually is a lot of money for a laptop. So you really need to think this through, you know. You watch these videos and it gives you, everybody comes up with these videos all at the same time. You go on YouTube and every single video is about the new MacBook Pro laptops, and everybody's rendering different benchmarks, and they're telling you how amazing they are compared to this laptop or that laptop, and how fast it does this, and how many streams of HD, and how many raw photos you can edit, and how much, you know, it almost feels like the laptop is gonna be your girlfriend, that you can go to bed with it. It's incredible. They give you a false sense of urgency, and you really need to step back a little bit. And yes, it's nice to watch those videos. It's nice to know that there is a machine that can do all of that and probably more. But you need to really look at yourself and your personal circumstances and what it is that you're doing today, what it is that you might be doing in the next month, and then buy according to that. Okay, and if 2 months or 3 months down the line or 6 months down the line, your life changes and suddenly you are in need of a machine like that, well, guess what? Great, invest in that machine. Then your life has moved up a notch and you can then afford that machine. But don't just buy something thinking that that project is going to happen, or that you're going to get this incredible job and you're going to need it, or this film is going to happen, because a lot of the times things don't happen, or if they do happen, they don't happen the way you planned it. Okay, you might think, oh, I'm gonna go on location and carry this amazing laptop that is gonna do all of this, and then production turns around and says, no, we're renting the equipment from this other facility, because they don't just give you the laptop, they give you all of these extra bits and they give us a great rate, and then you just invested all that much money for nothing. Okay, so really think this through. Okay, they are amazing machines, the M1 and the M1 Max. It's incredible what Apple is able to do with these chips, but think this through. That's what I'm telling you. Okay, and if you don't think you need all that raw power, trust me, the M1 MacBook Air, it's really, really good. It's incredible value for money. It will give you so much for so much less. Okay, and with that being said, I really hope you enjoyed this video and you got something positive out of this. I hope I haven't put you off from watching my videos. I hope not. Or from buying something if you need it. I hope I've given you a different perspective. If I did, job well done. I leave some links in the description below if you want to buy a MacBook Air or the MacBook M1 Pros and the M1 Max. And look, at the end of this video, there is a couple of the videos that I think you might like it. And I'll see you in the next video.